The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users. On demand on YouTube and on iTunes, and you can see the show in its entirety after we post it after the show at my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you will also see issues that we discuss during the show, and you can comment as well. And thanks to our friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we are coast to coast across the United States of America in 12 million households. I'm your host, Gary Baumgarten. Interesting things happening in Israel today. That's going to be our first topic. Just to let you know, the second half of the show, we're going to be delighted to have Salon.com Washington Bureau Chief Walter Shapiro, formerly a columnist at USA Today, to talk about the Democratic primary race and how the continued fight that's going on between Obama and Clinton is, unlike a lot of us feel, good for the Democrats. Not bad for them, good for them. I kind of thought that the Republicans sit back, watch the Democrats duke it out, and with a little smirk on their faces. But he says, no, it's actually good for the Democrats, and he will be here to explain why he believes that. But first, the terrible news out of Israel, that some guy walks into a Jewish seminary in Jerusalem with automatic weapon or weapons and fires off 500 to 600 rounds, killing 7 to 8 people before a student opens fire and kills the gunman. A lot of people are saying they are shocked and surprised by this, but I will tell you why I am not. In fact, I feel that some kind of an attack such as this should have been expected. The fact is that there are a significant number of people, not all, of course, but a significant number, because they have been brainwashed by the Palestinian media, by what's being preached to them at the pulpits, among the Palestinians who are not in favor of the two-state solution that every U.S. administration has been attempting to negotiate, and which the Bush administration is trying to force as President Bush's legacy when he leaves office. Because a two-state solution would presuppose a recognition of the state of Israel. And you can't have recognition of the state of Israel when you don't want the state of Israel to exist. And so, therefore, there were those among the Palestinians who were thankful that the increased rocket attacks upon the Israelis resulted in what many are calling a disproportionate response by the Israelis. And the deaths of 100 people, some of them militants, some of them civilians, some of those civilians children. Israel then backed off, but at the time of the Israeli response to all of that, we saw a break-off in negotiations. Now remember, this happened just days before Condoleezza Rice was scheduled to go to the Middle East. You see, a break-off in negotiations is a good thing for those who want to eliminate the state of Israel. They don't want a two-state solution. So now we get a withdrawal of the Israelis almost as quickly as they went into the Gaza. They pulled back out. Mahmoud Abbas agreed to go back, though reluctantly, but at the urging of Condi Rice, to the negotiating table. Well, this is not good for those who don't want the state of Israel's existence. They don't want to see peace. They want to see war. They want to see the Israelis succumb, if not immediately, over the long haul. They want them out of the neighborhood. And so they don't want these peace talks to forge ahead. And so, of course, they will now attack in an attempt to get the Israelis to derail the peace talks once again. Boaz Frankel, what is the latest that you're hearing from Israel, and what do you think about my assessment of that situation?
Well, first of all, Gary, good evening, and good evening to everyone here on News Talk Online. The Jerusalem Post is reporting that eight Jewish people in Jerusalem were killed by this latest terrorist attack. Uh, it's not clear whether it was one or two gunmen. The Jerusalem Post is reporting one terrorist with one automatic rifle that managed to cap off some 500 rounds in a matter of between 4 and 10 minutes, and that's a lot of ammunition. He was finally taken down by a student that had a rifle, and he took him out with 2 rounds. That's what the Jerusalem Post is reporting on this issue. Many wounded, 50 ambulances converged on the area, and just a terrible mess there and a terrible tragedy of a long string of tragedies. As with regards to your analysis, Gary, I can only add my own 2 cents to this and say that this is once again proof. Although, let me take a step back here, and it was Hamas that made a statement saying that this terrorist attack was retaliation for one of the IDF's attacks in the Gaza Strip. But you don't know which one it is because there have been so many since. I mean, there have been several times since the rocket attacks happened, and you don't know which is retaliation and which is not. But putting that aside, uh, basically the Hamas has taken responsibility. Both the Hamas and the Islamic Jihad have both taken responsibility for this attack. Now, it is interesting, Gary, that correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time that Hamas has come out openly and said that they take responsibility for this terrorist attack. Let's put aside the Islamic Jihad for a second. The Islamic Jihad always says it always takes responsibilities for all the attacks, even though they don't do all of them. But the Hamas has stated clearly that it has taken responsibility for this attack. And in my opinion, that to me is a sign of war. The Hamas don't want peace. It's pretty obvious. Um, Condoleezza Rice coming to the Middle East, I don't think is going to do a lot of good. Uh, Perhaps President Bush's last-ditched effort to try to make some peace in the Middle East. Obviously, anybody with with a little bit of common sense is going to see that that won't do any good either. So once again, Bush, as other presidents, specifically, and when we talk about the last president that tried to do the same thing in a marathon, was in the days that the Arafat was still alive and was